So this video I'm about to do was influenced by Andy Edwards, a prog drummer who plays with a lot of well-known bands and that. And his YouTube channel threw up the best of Yes albums according to Andy. So I thought I'd respond and show you mine. I'm going to use my box set, which is 12 classic albums plus 62 bonus tracks. All the albums up to from Yes up to Big Generator. So easy for me to put them in an order of my ranking. Now this is my ranking, so I'm sure that many of you will disagree, but let's go through it. So I'm going to go from the bottom to the top. So we'll start with their first album. It's okay. You could see where the band were going with this, and it's a long way removed from here to the Yes album, for example, in quite a quick sort of jump, really. But anyway, so that's my least favourite, although it's still an album I enjoy. This will be the controversial one for most people. Drama. So, Drama. What can I say about Drama? I don't really like most of the tracks on here. There is potential to be a great album, but I guess the biggest challenge here is the Buggles being here, and it just makes the whole thing very, very much a Jeff Downes and Trevor Horn album. And although, I like some of the latter day Trevor Horn stuff, I think what really put me off about him was when he did the Return Trip album, and Benoit David was sort of like thrown into history, never to return, which I didn't like at all. So good things about this album. Well, the cover art is Roger Dean. The great Yes logo. This came at a time when came after Tomato. So, Wakeman and John Anderson went off to do their own things, and this came out. A lot of people like this. I think, as I say, potential to be great, but really misses John's vocals and Rick's keyboard for me. Third from bottom, another controversial one, I'm sure. Yes, 90125. What can I say about this? It's very 80s. Once again, Trevor Horn's all over it, which probably puts me off a little bit. Owner of Lonely Heart is okay, but lots of repeating lyrics. I don't really like the sort of orchestral clash in there on keyboards. But the songs are great. I mean, don't get me wrong, but there are certain things that put me off this album. And probably my favourite track on here is Our Song. Truly an Anderson influenced track, that one. And Hearts as well. I really like Hearts. I think the thing that threw me off this, I was going through my reggae phase in the 80s and didn't listen to much stuff on MTV, and I know this is all over MTV. It's a bit like AOR for me. I don't like the Yes logo. I don't like the cover art. This probably wouldn't have benefited from a Roger Dean, but nonetheless, it's not my favourite. Okay. Next up, Time and a Word. I play this album quite a lot. I really like it. I think some of the Bruford drumming in here is absolutely amazing, and the guitar work is also amazing. And of course, it's an Eddie Offord engineered album, which I think brings a lot to make this sound like a classic Yes album. Every Day, Sweet Dreams, The Prophet, some great tracks, and probably the two favourites of mine on this album are Astral Traveller and Time and a Word. But I play this quite a lot. I've got it on vinyl, and it does come out quite a lot. So great album. Shows what the direction they were going in to become what we all know as classic Yes. Next up, Big Generator. I bought this on release and I didn't really like it, as most people didn't, but it does have some great tunes on it. It suffers from an 80s mix. I think this could really benefit from a remix, remaster, maybe adding some other songs on here, and sort of expanding it with live gigs and everything. But I quite like most of the tracks on here, and I do play it. And although the 80s production does great with me, I persevere. So I actually prefer that over 90125, which will upset a few people, I'm sure. Next up, the classic Yes lineup, Tornado, which was going to be Yes Tour. It's got the divining guy on the front, with the Yes Tour behind him, and Yes Tour does exist. A friend of mine moved into a new house recently near Tavistock, and all the houses in his road are named after tours on Dartmoor, and his actually happens to be Yes Tour, so that was quite amazing. Had a good laugh about that one. I think what ruins this is the fact that they've thrown tomatoes at it. You know, it sort of says we don't really care to me. I think if they just left it with the picture of the band and the wonderful progressive album cover, I think it would have been fine. But already they're saying we didn't think much of this album. And there are some great tracks on here, as we all know. I like the on the inner cover, which has been replicated on the CD here. I do like the fact that it's got the Ordnance Survey map on this one. All these albums in this box set have additional tracks on them, and some are actually better than the tracks that ended up on the album. Favourites on here, well, I love Don't Kill the Whale. I like Release, On the Silent Wings of Freedom, Future Times, and Rejoice. Madrigal's okay. Two tracks I really don't like, and if I play it on CD, I skip them. On vinyl, I persevere, and that's Arriving UFO and Circus of Heaven. I just can't abide Circus of Heaven. Something about that, the no clowns and all that cutesy stuff, it's just not progressive enough for me. Okay, next up, one of the best albums they ever made, going for the one with the amazing triple fold cover, which is even more amazing on vinyl, and obviously in Switzerland mode. And it's a really good album, this one. It's got the classic Awaken on it, which is just one of their best albums of all time. And this leads us into what becomes a great run of albums to follow. So to follow in my selection. Great album. So next up, and the only reason it's in this position is because it's got the solo tracks on, which don't do anything for me. I know they didn't have enough tracks to really produce a full album at the time, and probably not enough money. But the actual tracks on here that are full band tracks are really outstanding. And that's, of course, Fragile. Fragiles have many a remix. I still prefer the original, which I have. But the classic tracks on here that I love are Roundabout, Long Distance, Run Round, and Heart of the Sunrise. They're the three brilliant albums, brilliant tracks on this album, and also South Side of the Sky. They for me are classic, yes, and probably out of those, Heart of the Sunrise is my all-time favourite. Great Roger Dean sleeve, which has been reworked for a new release by Roger Dean, but you can't beat the original, and that is such a good album. Everything about it is fabulous. Next up, it's probably the Yes album that I have most copies of on vinyl. There's nothing bad in this album at all. Every track's stunning. It was a real move from the early Yes going towards the classic lineup, but with Bruford on drums, and that's the Yes album. I mean, so many really, really good tracks on here. I mean, you've got Yours Is No Disgrace, The Clap, Starship Trooper, I've Seen All Good People, Adventure, and Perpetual Change. And, you know, John Anderson's just redone Perpetual Change with the Band Geeks on his live album. Sounds amazing. But this, for me, is a classic, the turning point for Yes. And now and again, this is my favourite. I probably play this more than most of the albums that I've ranked higher. So I think it's just very easy album to get into, and has some great tracks on it. And the band are really steaming with this. Next up, most people's favourite and probably the most classic progressive rock album of all time, and that's Close to the Edge by Yes. Only reason this isn't my favourite is I'm probably over familiar with it, but there are two albums which I feel are slightly better and more enduring and, you know, more progressive than this one. But this is such a great album, I don't need to go through it. I'm sure everybody who's into Yes has probably this in their top three, I would imagine. Great Roger Dean sleeve, Eddie Offord up here, engineering, of course, and this had a lot of cuts and edits on tape, so he did a fabulous job pulling this together. And then the wonderful Close to the Edge shot in the middle, just absolutely stunning. Everything about this album, from the green cover, the green interior, and everything is just so up there. And I think this was one of the very first albums to have the band's logo on the label. So if you've got the vinyl version of this, you also get the Yes logo on the vinyl version. And thereafter, they started to bring out custom labels with artwork on it as well. Okay, and now to my top two. Hard to put these into order, but this is the order I've got them. So Yes, Relayer. I'd really like to see an expanded version of this with some live Mraz stuff. I know Yes shows we get a couple of tracks. There must be more. It'd be great to do a full release of this. I did buy the Rhino version that came out recently, but I still prefer the original vinyl, to be honest with you. But what a classic sleeve and artwork from Roger Dean. I've seen this artwork in real life. If it wasn't so expensive, I'd have bought it. It is just amazing. And it's not very big. It's a very small piece of art. This one tries to replicate the actual sleeve, but not quite on the inside, but it's a good attempt. And on the inside of the album, you get sort of like the inside of the cardboard, so it's rough in here. But a great album. For me, when this came out, played it to death, and I still play it very frequently. Many say it's their jazz album, and I sort of agreed with that, return forever to forever type jazz. And it's also got the fantastic picture artwork label, which is replicated on the vinyl as well. So really nice release, this one. So Relaya, Gates of Delirium, Sound Chaser, To Be Over, all fabulous tracks. And at the end of Gates of Delirium, when Soon comes on and all the chaos sort of turns into the most beautiful song sung by John Anderson, just absolutely stunning. So that's my second to top. And of course, that leaves us with my favourite Yes album, Tales from Topographic Oceans. Once again, beautiful Roger Dean artwork. Great inner sleeve, although on this it's almost impossible to read the small text. But if you've got the album, you can certainly read it. 4 sides, 4 songs, or 4 song suites. And every one of them to me is perfect. It just works really well. If I ever play this album, I've really got to start at side A and go all the way through to side D, the 4th side. I can't just pick out one and play it. I have to play the whole album. So it's really an experience when I play this album. But I bought this on release, the original vinyl, which I still have today. I've got a number of copies of this. It's very hard to bypass them when you're out record shopping and you see a good quality original. And of course, this has got the wonderful picture labels as well, which are replicated on the vinyl version. So very, very nice release. I don't know whether this has got any extra tracks on it. Let's have a quick look, because most of these in this series have extra tracks on. Oh yeah, there's Dance of the Dawn studio run through and Giants Under the Sun studio run through on this. So apart from that, they're quite interesting, but not really up there. My favourite album from the Yes catalogue, up to and including Big Generator. So perhaps you could let us know what your favourites are, and be very interesting to see if there's any synergy between those who play back on this. If you want to just comment, just list the top ones in your order. So 12 albums here. Just list your top 12 and let's see if there's anything to match. Obviously the albums that came after here, like Magnification and various others, I do like those as well, but I'm just sticking to this set of albums from the initial Yes to Big Generator. Over to you.